So I'm going to talk about Edward's comments regarding gender in The Handmaid's Tale. So at first, I want to start by talking about Margaret Atwood and her her opinion on feminism. So Atwood's work has been of interest to feminist literacy critics. Despite Atwood's unwillingness at times to apply the label feminists to her work, as she says, I don't consider it feminism, and I just consider social realism. Um, Margaret has argued that feminism is not defined as the assumption that women are always right, regardless of the context. And I also have this quote of her that says, if you say feminism means girls pushing boys off the roof, then no, I am not a feminist. But if you say feminism means believing women are human beings too, then yes, I am a feminist. Judging by her tone, I can see, I can, I can see that she feels like obligated, that she has to kind of address um, this whole thing, and I kind of know why, because these days the feminism is considered um, it's considered a thing that whoever is like a feminist believes that women are better than men, and all men should die, and blah 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 blah. But yeah, that's why I feel like she feels obligated to comment on that, and I can see how she's like unwilling at times to apply the label feminist. But moving on, gender roles in Gilead. So Gilead is a strict society with a huge difference between the genders. As soon as the Gileadian revolutionaries took over after terrorism destroys the US government, they fire all women from their jobs and drain their bank accounts. Soon, Gileadian women find all liberties taken away from them, from the right to choose their clothes to the right to read. Um, Even women in position of power like Aunt Lydia are only allowed to kettle prods, never guns. And Gilead also institutionalizes sexual violence towards women. The ceremony where the commander tries to impregnate Offred is a kind of rape. So, but yes, I have some examples where um, Offred and Corley were planning to meet up in at 2:30 during the testifying. It's chapter 13, where Aunt Lydia and Aunt Helena led to the handmaids to describe Janice's rape as her fault and as God's will to teach her a lesson. And the testifying scene shows that where Aunt Lydia's encouragements to be sympathetic and to work together to break down um, women turn against women in a dramatic scene of fear and pressure and self-blaming. As mentioned, Aunt Sarah and Aunt Elizabeth aren't allowed to have guns, and the narrator explains that the guards outside specialty members of the group called angels have guns, but they aren't allowed to enter, just as the women aren't allowed to exit except for 2 walks per day. The role of men. So, the role of men within the book were the rulers of women. They were given much more than women were, as well as more room of freedom. Um, Gilead itself was like a concentration camp for women, and men were the rulers. Um, Reading and writing was forbidden, obviously, um, for women, and and that's um, and that's because they do not possess any power. But also, like, if they were allowed to read or write, they could easily plan an escape or turn to, like, become like a team together and get the hell out of there. Um, but yeah, Gilead itself was no, I'm sorry. The power lies with the men in Gilead, as mentioned, and men are allowed to read and write in order to fulfill their duties. Um, they also need to read the Bible in order to like, interpret it correctly. Um, but it's obvious that the Gilead leadership understands that they're not following the teachings of the Bible. They're simply cherry picking various aspects of the Bible to justify their actions. And Gilead treatment of women is based upon a fundamentalist interpretation of the Bible, meaning that women are the property of their husband, father, or household, um, or head of their household. And as mentioned earlier, everyone wears the same clothing, but women are separated by color into classes and are stripped of their names in order to not catch a male attention, and they're also not allowed to look at males in that way. They become property of the commanders by adopting to their first name after Off, such as Off-Red, Off-Glen. This is in connection with the New Christian Right movement, which also limits autonomy, women's autonomy and choice of contraception and abortion. And the religious parts are selective, as mentioned, um, in a way that benefits them. Earlier, I mentioned the ceremony. The handmaid is required to bathe afterwards. The household gathers together for the reading of the Bible and a prayer, and led by the commander. And during the ceremony itself, everyone remains mostly dressed, which is designed to be as non-sensual as possible, as the purpose of the ceremony is not sexual pleasure, but the conceiving of children. At an impregnation ceremony and birthing ceremony, the handmaid has to lie on the commander's wife's stomach, with the wife's knees around her. This follows, um, and this symbolizes that they are of one body. And the ceremony is the only sexual contact handmaids are allowed because the sexual relations at any or other time or with anyone else is considered to be fornication and sinful.